Let's start with a number that defies the laws of physics, economics, and common sense. $1.50. In 1985, you could walk into a Costco, back when it was still figuring out how to be a warehouse giant, and buy a quarter-pound hot dog and a 20-ounce soda for $1.50. Fast forward to today. The world has caught fire. We've lived through the dot-com bubble, the 2008 financial apocalypse, a global pandemic, and supply chain meltdowns that made buying a used Toyota Corolla feel like purchasing a private island. The price of a gallon of milk has doubled. Rent has tripled. The cost of just existing feels like a subscription service that keeps hiking its rates without asking you. But if you walk into a Costco right now, in this brutal, inflation-ridden year, that same hot dog and that same soda are still exactly $1.50. It is the only thing in your life that hasn't betrayed you. It stands there like a greasy, processed monolith of stability in a chaotic universe. But here is the thing that should make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. It is a lie. That hot dog is not a meal. It is a financial weapon. You look at that price board and you think, wow, what a deal. Costco really loves me. They understand the struggle of the working man. You poor, sweet, naive fool. Costco doesn't love you. Costco is hunting you. They are literally losing money every single time you stuff the Frankfurter into your mouth. In the ruthless bloodsport arena of American capitalism, where corporations would grind their own grandmothers into dog food if it bumped the stock price by 0.25%, Costco is voluntarily setting millions of dollars on fire just so you can have a cheap lunch. Why? Why would a company that generated over $200 billion in revenue last year act like a soup kitchen for suburban dads? Because that hot dog is the bait. It is the shiny lure on the end of a very sharp hook. You think you are beating the system because you got a cheap lunch, but you are actually walking into one of the most sophisticated psychological traps ever designed by human beings. They are willing to bleed cash on the hot dog because they know that once you are inside that concrete fortress, once you have that taste of a bargain in your mouth, your brain chemistry changes. You stop being a rational consumer and you turn into a gathering-obsessed hoarder. You came for the $1.50 lunch, but you are not leaving until you have a flatbed cart loaded with a 65-inch television, a gallon of mayonnaise, and a kayak you will use exactly once. The hot dog is the gateway drug. It is the loss leader to end all loss leaders, a defiant middle finger to inflation designed to lower your defenses so they can extract the real money from your wallet. And the most terrifying part? It works. It works so well that it has built an empire that terrifies Walmart and makes Amazon sweat. So, wipe the mustard off your face and pay attention, because we are about to dissect how a tube of mystery meat became the anchor for a billion-dollar strategy. Now, you might be thinking, okay, sure, it's a loss leader. Big deal. Companies lose money on purpose all the time, but you don't understand the level of religious fanaticism involved here. This isn't just a marketing strategy, it is a blood oath. Let me take you into the boardroom for a moment, into a scene that sounds like it was written by Tarantino for a corporate thriller. The year is around 2009. Craig Jelinek, who is about to become the CEO, walks up to the co-founder of Costco, the legendary Jim Sinegal. Jelinek is a numbers guy. He looks at the spreadsheets and sees a sea of red ink spilling out of the food court. He clears his throat and says, "Jim, we can't sell this hot dog for $1.50. We are losing our rear ends." It's a reasonable statement. It's logical. In any other company on earth, the board would nod, raise the price to $1.75, and nobody would blink. But Jim Sinegal is not a normal CEO. He doesn't look at Jelinek with concern. He looks at him with the eyes of a man who is about to defend his child from a pack of wolves. He leans in and delivers a line that has been etched into the annals of business history forever. "If you raise the effing hot dog, I will kill you." Figure it out. Read that again. "I will kill you." He didn't say, "Let's circle back." He didn't say, "Let's put a pin in it." He issued a death threat over a sausage. Why? Because Sinegal understood something that the spreadsheet addicts on Wall Street never will. The moment you raise that price, you break the spell. You shatter the illusion that Costco is a magical fortress safe from the ravages of the outside world. If the hot dog goes up, the trust goes down. It is the canary in the coal mine. If the canary dies, the customers flee. So what did Jelinek do? He didn't call the police. He didn't raise the price. He did something completely psychotic. He looked at the supply chain and said, "Fine. If the meat is too expensive, we will become the meat." Costco, a retailer that sells tires and bulk toilet paper, decided to build its own massive meat processing plants. They literally started manufacturing their own hot dogs just to shave a few cents off the production cost, so they wouldn't have to charge you a quarter more. Think about the absurdity of that. They built giant factories, hired hundreds of people, and navigated the nightmare of USDA regulations, all to protect a price point from 1985. That is not business. That is obsession. And it is precisely that kind of manic, desperate commitment to the deal that makes you hand over your credit card without a second thought. You are walking through those warehouse doors, flashing your little card at the greeter, like it's a badge of honor, thinking you are entering a store. You are wrong. You are not entering a store. You are entering a trap. And the most brilliant part of this trap is that you paid for the privilege of stepping into it. This is the great illusion of the Costco model. You think they are in the business of selling you toilet paper and televisions. They are not. If they were just a retailer, they would be terrible at it. Let's look at the math, and I promise to keep it simple, because the reality is horrifying enough without calculus. A typical retailer like Walmart or Target operates with a profit margin on their merchandise of around 24% or more. That means when you buy a toaster, they are taking a healthy chunk of change off the top. Costco? Their margin is capped at around 11%, and often it's much lower, closer to zero on many items. They're practically giving the stuff away. Wall Street hates this. It looks like bad business. It looks like they don't like money. But Costco doesn't care about making a profit on the mayonnaise. The mayonnaise is a distraction. Here is the twist that should make you question your entire existence as a consumer. Costco is actually a subscription service. It is Netflix, but instead of movies, you get rotisserie chickens and cheap tires. The vast majority of their profit, we are talking about roughly 3/4 of their entire operating income, comes purely from membership fees. That $60 you hand over once a year? That is the profit. That is the entire ball game. Everything else inside that warehouse, the pallets of water, the mountains of jeans, the electronics, is just set dressing. It is all there just to justify the annual fee. And this is where they hack your brain. It's called the sunk cost fallacy, and they have weaponized it. The moment you pay that $60, a switch flips in your head. You think, I paid the fee, so now I have to shop at Costco to earn my money back. You're no longer shopping because you need something. You are shopping to validate an investment. You drive past 3 other grocery stores that are closer to your house, burning expensive gas, just to get to Costco because you need to win against the membership fee. You think you are saving money, but you are really just fulfilling a prophecy they wrote for you the moment you signed up. You aren't a customer. You are a disciple paying tithes to the Church of Bulk Goods. And you are happy to do it because they let you buy a hot dog for pocket change. Welcome to the labyrinth. Have you ever noticed that navigating a Costco feels less like a shopping trip and more like an orienteering challenge designed by a sadist? You walk in, and immediately you are assaulted by a wall of 85-inch televisions that are brighter than the sun. You didn't come for a television. You came for toilet paper. But where is the toilet paper? There are no signs. Look up. Do you see those helpful little placards that say dairy or cereal that you find in a normal grocery store? No. You see steel beams and the terrifying vastness of the warehouse ceiling. This is not an accident. It is psychological warfare. They deliberately refuse to label the aisles because they do not want you to be efficient. Efficiency is the enemy of profit. If you could walk straight to the peanut butter, grab it, and leave, Costco would lose money. They need you lost. They need you wandering aimlessly through the valley of the shadow of consumerism, scanning every pallet, because every second you spend searching is a second you are vulnerable to the treasure hunt. That is literally what they call it in the industry, the treasure hunt. It is a game, and you are the pawn. You might think you know where the trash bags are because you bought them there last month. You walk to aisle 12 with confidence, but when you arrive, the trash bags are gone. In their place is a pallet of inflatable kayaks or a mountain of designer jeans. Panic sets in. You have to search again. They intentionally move staple products around the store like a shell game to force you to walk past items you never knew existed, but suddenly desperately need. You didn't wake up this morning thinking, I need a gallon of almond butter and a 3-pack of solar-powered garden lights. But now that you have walked past them 3 times looking for the bleach, they are in your cart. You have been triggered. And then there is the chicken. The legendary inflation-proof $4.99 rotisserie chicken. It is delicious, it is cheap, and it is always, without fail, located in the absolute furthest corner of the store. To get to that chicken, to get that deal, you have to walk past the jewelry case, the laptops, the seasonal furniture, and the wine. They are dragging you through the high-margin minefield to get to the loss leader prize. It is the carrot on the stick, and you are the donkey trotting happily past thousands of dollars of merchandise, telling yourself you are saving money. You walked in for a $5 bird and a $1.50 hot dog, and you are walking out with a $300 receipt. You didn't beat the house. The house played you like a fiddle, and you thanked them for it because you got a warm chicken out of the deal. We need to talk about the illusion of choice. In the modern world, we are told that choice is the ultimate freedom. You walk into a Walmart or a standard supermarket, and you are confronted with a wall of toothpaste. There are 50 different kinds: whitening, tartar control, mint, herbal, baking soda, charcoal. It's a paralyzing nightmare of decision fatigue. You stand there for 10 minutes trying to figure out which tube won't poison you. Costco looks at that model and laughs. They don't believe in giving you options. They believe in giving you orders. A typical Walmart carries about 140,000 different items. They try to be everything to everyone. Costco? They carry only about 4,000 SKUs, stock keeping units. That is it. If you want ketchup, you don't get to choose between Hunt's, Heinz, French's, and the generic store brand. No, you get a 3-pack of Heinz, or you get out. This isn't because they are lazy. It is because scarcity is power. By artificially limiting the number of items on the shelves, they turn their warehouse into a gladiator arena for suppliers. Imagine you are a toothpaste manufacturer. You want to be in Costco because their customers buy in bulk like doomsday preppers. But there is only one spot on the shelf for toothpaste, just one. That means you aren't just competing for market share. You are fighting for your life. You have to offer the absolute lowest price, the best packaging, and the highest quality. Or Costco will kick you to the curb and replace you with your competitor without shedding a tear. They hold a gun to the head of the biggest brands on earth, Procter & Gamble, Nestlé, Unilever, and demand prices that would bankrupt a normal retailer. And the brands say, thank you for the privilege, because losing that spot is a death sentence. But the real gangster move. That happens when a big brand refuses to play ball. Let's say a company refuses to lower their price to what Costco demands. Costco doesn't argue. They just unleash the nuclear option, Kirkland's Signature. This isn't just a generic store brand. It is a brand killer. Costco will find a manufacturer, often the same manufacturer that makes the name brand product, and pay them to make a version that is equal to or better than the original, slap a Kirkland label on it, and sell it for 20% less. They put it right next to the name brand on the shelf, like a tombstone. They destroyed Coca-Cola in their stores. They destroyed the big battery brands. Kirkland's signature now brings in more revenue than Nike and Coca-Cola combined. It is corporate bullying at its finest, and you, the customer, are the accomplice holding the getaway bag. Now, we arrive at the part of the story that makes traditional Wall Street ghouls wake up screaming in the middle of the night. In the standard playbook of modern capitalism, labor is the enemy. It is a cost, a leech on the bottom line. The goal of every smart CEO is to squeeze the worker until they are a dry husk, pay them the absolute legal minimum, and replace them the moment they ask for a bathroom break. You see this everywhere. The retail worker is treated like a disposable battery. Use them up and toss them out. Turnover is just the cost of doing business, but Costco looks at that model and spits on the ground. They have decided to do the unthinkable. They actually pay their people. We aren't just talking about a few cents above minimum wage. We are talking about a living wage with benefits, vacation time, and, get this, respect. A cashier at Costco can make $26, $27 an hour. In the retail world, that is like winning the lottery. To an investment banker looking at a spreadsheet, this looks like communism. They scream, "You are wasting shareholder value. You could hire 2 teenagers for that price." But they are missing the point. Costco isn't running a charity. They are running a Formula One pit crew. By paying a premium, Costco eliminates the revolving door of misery that plagues places like Walmart or Target. The turnover rate at Costco is practically a rounding error compared to the industry standard. This means their employees stay for years. They know the codes. They know the layout. Have you ever watched a Costco cashier work? It is terrifying. They don't just scan items, they assault them. They move with the speed and precision of an industrial robot. They are tossing 50-pound bags of rice and cases of water with a fluidity that defies physics. They are industrial athletes. Compare that to the poor soul at the average grocery store who is staring at the register like it's an alien artifact, trying to find the code for a banana while a line of angry customers forms behind you. That slowness costs money. Every second the line stalls is a second Costco isn't taking your money. By treating their employees like human beings, Costco gets superhuman performance. The numbers don't lie. Costco generates significantly higher revenue per employee than any of its competitors. They are proving that the most ruthless, profitable way to run a business is, ironically, to not be a sociopath. They pay more to make more. It is a slap in the face to every CEO who thinks the path to riches is paved with minimum wage slavery. So we return to where we started, the $1.50 hot dog. By now, you should realize that this cylinder of processed meat is not a lunch. It is a symbol. It is a flag planted in the ground that says, "We are on your side." It is the most powerful piece of propaganda in the history of retail. Every time you bite into that cheap, mustard-covered Frankfurter, you are reaffirming a contract. You're telling yourself that Costco is the one place in the world that isn't trying to rip you off, even as you push a cart containing $400 of merchandise you didn't know existed 20 minutes ago. It is a brilliant, beautiful lie. The hot dog tells you that the world is stable, even when it isn't. It tells you that your dollar still has value, even when inflation is eating your savings alive. And because they give you that feeling, that warm, fuzzy, full-stomach feeling of safety, you reward them with a loyalty that borders on cult worship. You don't just shop there, you evangelize for them. You tell your friends, you have to go to Costco, the gas is 10 cents cheaper, ignoring the fact that you paid $60 for the right to buy that gas and waited in line for 20 minutes to pump it. You are working for their marketing department for free. And look at the scoreboard. While other retailers are closing stores, panicking about Amazon, and slashing benefits, Costco is an unstoppable juggernaut. Their stock has exploded, up hundreds of percentage points over the last decade. Their shareholders are buying yachts. Their founders are billionaires. And they did it all by violating every rule in the business school textbook. They didn't maximize short-term profit. They didn't squeeze their workers. They didn't raise prices to match inflation. They did the opposite. They played the long game. The lesson here is terrifyingly simple. In a world of greedy, short-sighted corporations trying to nickel and dime you to death, the smartest way to become the richest company in the room is to lose money on purpose. They lose pennies on the hot dog to make billions on the membership. They give you the crumbs so they can take the whole cake. So the next time you walk out of those sliding doors, full of cheap soda and carrying a 5-year supply of toilet paper, just remember you didn't get a deal. You got played. And the scariest part? You can't wait to come back and do it all over again.